say, get down, get down. No, he's like a little kid.
Well, I'll sit to try to block him from jumping up on you.
To yourself. All right, is this good? This is great.
Hello and welcome back to Indie Film Hub Podcast. I'm Rhodes, your host, and today we're talking about finding a niche. You guys have heard that over and over again, I'm sure, but we want to dial in and kind of explain the power of finding a niche and what that can do for you and your business and for your clients as well. So today with us, we have, I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name's Corey Messer. And that's it.
That's it. Yeah, he has nothing to say. He's just here for visual.
Yeah, you said niche. So my background, I went to Full Sail for film school, and I learned how to make movies and television, and they teach you every department of everything.
We have Tito here, who did not go to Full Sail.
Tito did not. He's a year old. He's basically a child. But yeah, my background came from just love of movies. I always wanted to make movies, and found out about that school Full Sail, and it blew my mind that I could make that into an education. And yeah, went out to LA after that, and because that's what you do after film school.
Yeah. I have not been out to LA, but
Yeah. Well,
I
actually,
didn't go to film school either. So
right after, I guess I came back and worked at Spartan Photo Center for a little bit. And then I had all my friends were out in LA, and I had like serious FOMO. Like, what am I doing? These guys are all, it seemed like online they were all doing like big things, and some of them were. And so I think I was in town for about a year before I ended up actually going right back out there. So I went out there. I immediately got on a show. Like, reality shows are easier to get onto, and I worked on a show for about a year. It was a traveling like food show though, Travel Channel, called Food Paradise. And
I don't think you ever told me that.
yeah, that's where I learned a lot of just production stuff outside of school. But I was like a C cam specialty camera person. So, I'd rig a bunch of like GoPros and like funky angles and stuff like that. And I would also be the DID. But we would basically travel to different cities and talk about one specific type of food, because on Food Paradise it was like, on this season it's taco paradise, this season it's barbecue paradise or pizza paradise or whatever. So I got to eat a lot of good food and learned a lot about production and stuff in that. And then that company was piloting a new show in Greenville, South Carolina, and they asked me if I wanted to go on that because it's closer to home. And I was like, well, hell yeah! I mean, why not? Make the same rates. It's very expensive to live in LA. Obviously, heard.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I went out there, or came back to Greenville and started working on Flippin' Ships, which lasted one season, and that was with Edwin McCain, who is like a famous singer in his own right, and his ragtag group of buddies. And have you ever seen that show, Pimp My Ride?
Yeah.
Imagine Pimp My Ride, but with boats, and instead of like a hip hop vibe with Exhibit, it's like a country vibe with Edwin. And this is during the time when like Duck Dynasty was still huge, and like a lot of these guys had that like kind of country Duck Dynasty vibe. And so yeah, I worked on that show for like a year or two. It has one season. It was on Animal Planet for whatever reason. I know why, because at the time Animal Planet had changed their slogan to Surprisingly Human, so that they could do shows about people, because reality TV was just like so big that time. Like, you could make a show about anybody.
Here's the question: is reality TV a lie?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I'll put it to you this way: whenever they were building the boats, because that was like a big part of the show, right?
Yeah.
Is that like, here's the guys building the boats, and here's the problems they find. In order to effectively shoot a television show about a build, right, you can't really turn a whole boat around in like a week. if you're shooting like 8 or 10 hour days.
Mhm.
Um, so when the cameras would shut off, the real crew would come in, several guys, and like really try and fix the thing. And then our like on camera guys, they know what they're doing. There's just not enough time to like
Yeah.
do that. They would come in and like, finish up a screw or finish
Right.
up something like that. And then, with reality stuff, you have to script some things just to make it interesting. Otherwise, they're just,
Create issues,
yeah.
drama.
Otherwise, they're just sitting around, just like talking. Unless you're, unless you're like just super eccentric and you're just on camera all the time and all about drama, which, normal people are not. So, yes, a good bit of it has to be scripted. But anyways, um, I ended up working on like my own side gigs at the time, and that led me to learn about like what a creative agency was. I didn't even know what that meant.
Mm.
Like, I was like, "What a creative agency? What do they do there?" And they're just marketing companies, which I come to realize. And then I start learning about what all these different marketing companies are, and I did a gig for one of these marketing companies, and they liked me, and they didn't have an internal person, or I guess they had lost their internal person, and they asked me if I wanted to do it, like, full time, and that show had just ended, and I was like, "Well, let me just try this. I don't know what I'm doing, but sure, if I know how to make videos, let's see what happens." And they had some really nice gear.
You've been through all this and you still have imposter syndrome?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that happens a lot, to be honest with you, like, the whole imposter syndrome. I've been in many situations where I've just said yes to do it, and I'll just figure it out,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, even to this day, it still happens, like, yeah, I think in theory I can do it, why not? Um, but, yeah, I ended up just working in creative agencies, and, my career in that world changed my path from television to that kind of space
Mhm. Yeah.
instead of like movies and stuff. I still haven't shot a movie, uh, which I would love to at some point, but I've been enjoying what I've been doing on this side. I didn't even know that was a part of it.
I didn't get into any kind of narrative stuff until Billy Film Bar started,
Yeah.
because then everyone else was doing it. So, okay. But I was just doing solo, you know, interviews, documentaries, or like
Yeah.
mini doc. It was not really documentary. I'm thinking of one specific that was before that. That was just like they're giving out awards and they wanted to interview these people, talk about the person before they gave the awards. That was about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, early on for me, it was just Wild West, just whatever came your way. You're
Hmm.
picking up whatever. I didn't go to LA, so it was part of my job as working under as technical director at churches. I tried to incorporate videos whenever I could, doing video announcements or trying to have fun. We did like some lightsaber stuff. We tried to do a little. I guess we did try to do a little narrative for episode bumper video for one of the Christmas series, but that was about it. Um, but yeah, it was just whatever work I could find,
Yeah. And
and
a lot of people around here end up starting who are in production, like started in churches.
yeah,
I've realized.
oh yeah.
And some of these churches around here just have like crazy production quality and just gear, and it's wild. Like,
So you come here, you're working with an agency and a lot of
yeah.
different types of jobs, but you also had your own production company. When did that start? Green
Well,
Giant Media.
Green Giant Media started in the midst of whenever I was still working on that show, because I would always have like on Animal Planet show, I would always have like a side hustle,
Hmm.
just because people kept constantly asking me, "Hey, oh, you do videos? Can you shoot something?"
What
But
kind of stuff did
it
you
would,
get?
I mean, it would start at like weddings,
Yeah.
um, and I just realized that I should create a little separate entity if I was gonna like do that. I always liked what's his name? JJ Abrams. I think his was Bad Robot.
Hmm.
And I basically just like used that alliteration, like Bad Robot, Green Giant. Um, And then my friends would call me Jolly Green Giant growing up. So that's the name of that. And I told myself if I ever got in trouble with the Green Bean Company that like I'd made it, you know, if they or if they're like cease and desist, you can't use that. I'm like, yes, finally. And then it's like a little alien. I'm a nerd. I love aliens, anything space. So that's how that came to be. So it just came from just people asking me to
Yeah.
do stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've been asked to do all kinds of random things. As you start, it's just like filming like weddings is a big one, or someone's bar mitzvah. I shot a bunch of bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, I would say for me, I genuinely haven't found a specific niche. I know what I'd like to get into, but sometimes there's just barriers. So I'd love to do wildlife photography, but
Mm,
it's not like just accessible here in Greenville.
yeah,
Or if you think so.
well,
I've tried to shoot with like the nature center up in Asheville. I tried to reach out to Greenville Zoo, but they said, "Oh no, we use the city videographer." I've done some stuff with like rehab centers, but it's just
yeah,
limited. So
yeah. No, that's cool. Well, at least you like know what you really enjoy.
yeah,
So, I mean, back when I was still in this stage of just figuring out what creative agency was, like I still don't know exactly what I like to do. I mean, to this day, I still just enjoy it, a lot of the different aspects. So to get to like the niche part of what I kind of landed in, and I'm assuming you're talking about like the hotel kind of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. So it started at the first agency because I was with Traveling Storytellers was the name of the agency, which is no longer around, but there was I shot a video for them, for one of their clients, and it was a company that basically sold um they made like boxing and packaging materials to help ship BMW parts and other car parts. It
Hmm.
was this huge business company. It was manufacturing like commercial basically.
For those of you who don't know, BMW warehouse is like right here in
Hmm.
the upstate area. So they've got a lot of other satellite vendors that help with all the processing and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm. Um, and so I shot this ad and it we liked it, everything was good. And then a guy who his the owner of the business, his father-in-law saw that video and thought it was really well done. And so his father-in-law, his name was Scott Ziegler. His name may come up more and more because he is the man who basically changed my career path. And so Scott sees this video. He's like, "Who shot this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's this company, Traveling Storytellers." So he comes into Traveling Storytellers. He meets with us and he tells us who he is. And he is the head of the marketing, like over there for IMI. He's like the president there. He's um works for a company called IMI. To this day, I don't know what that acronym stands for, and neither do they. Um, just a quick history on IMI: market crash. They lost a lot of employees. It was down to just the bare bones of just like the executives and like a couple people. And so Scott was still there with them. And so their whole thing had changed. But anyways, Scott had a client. They were marketing and selling real estate outside of the country on this little island called Anguilla, which is near St. Martin. And so at the time this was a Viceroy branded, which is a hotel chain, pretty high end resort with a bunch of properties. And that's what IMI does. They sell like luxury living, basically. And so before the word content was like a normal thing, they basically needed content to help sell the idea and the vision of this place, to help really wealthy people um, want to buy there. So but you're talking about trying to make commercials and ads to help sell to the top 10% of the wealthiest people in the world. I am not I'm not familiar with that world at all, right? So I'm just working in this and this guy Scott comes and says, "I like the video you guys made. Can you make one for us?" It's in this beautiful island called Nagoya, and like, everybody and they're just like, "Hell yeah, we'd love to do that." So I'm the video guy. And they can really with the budget, it wasn't huge at the time. I mean, he's kind of testing the waters, right? It
yeah,
probably could have been a lot more. So it was essentially just like I think it was just two of us. It was myself and the like a sales guy uh who was no help at all, but he was super nice, but he didn't know anything about production or whatever. And so we get to this island. I'm filming all this content. It's just like what you can imagine, just crystal clear blue waters, white marble, everything. Just it was just beautiful, right? And so shooting this stuff for them, and then as I'm there, Scott is realizing that like, well, why is this guy Corey's the one doing all this stuff? Like, I'm running around with a gimbal. At the time, I think I'm filming with a I got a we got a C300 Mark One, which was their internal camera, and then I had a 7D, which I was flying around on a gimbal. Um, so I was trying to match those cameras. And here comes the tippy
Hey,
tappy
Tito.
Tito.
So, I mean, that really expresses the point of, put your best foot forward on all your videos because you don't know who's going to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you could find your whole world change because of that.
Exactly.
And then I understand working in a different tier of marketing than what I'm in. I was trying to write a script for a little video, and the guy I was helping, he's like, "No, no, no, no. That's what you're interested in. People that are buying this stuff want to hear all the cheesy nonsense stuff. They want to hear that." So we changed the script to all this cheesy nonsense. I wanted it to be like newer, more relational, but they wanted like marketing type
Mm,
things. For I don't know. It was just a weird time. So
yeah. Well,
it just made me realize that there are different marketeers that you
yeah,
gotta change your verbiage for.
for sure. I mean, sometimes even you could have been right though, doing what you were trying to do. Sometimes people don't understand that when it
Yeah.
comes to like translating it to film. But unless they're just into marketing what they've had work so far, they're just repeating it or whatever. But um that's a whole nother conversation of just client relations and yeah, just trying to walk that tightrope of with those relationships.
So obviously, going to resort, beautiful places,
Yeah.
that had you hooked.
Yeah, I mean, you I'm exposed to this
Traveling.
whole yeah, I'm exposed to this whole like lifestyle of how these people live and just like, it's hard to take a bad shot there. It's so beautiful and like
Mhm.
and so I just talked to Scott. I'm like, Scott, what? I'm sitting at this bar on the resort. It's called Sunset Lounge. They literally built it so that you had the best view of the sunset and it's all open air and it's all made out of this like crazy marble. Anyways, just setting the scene. So I'm sitting there with this guy. I'm like, Scott, this is awesome. Like, how do I do this more? And he's like, it's funny you should say that because like I'm trying to figure out how to do that for myself, for our company, and for our clients because they had lots of other projects all over the world. And conversation led to just hey, make us an offer, tell us what you would like, and I'd like to see if we can like move forward on something like that.
That's cool.
But you'd have to obviously talk to your company you're with. So the company I was with, like I said, traveling storytellers, I didn't just write them off at all.
Yeah.
I came to them and I was like, so guys, here's the
I was
deal.
gonna ask about like how did that all
Yeah,
play out because
well,
you don't want to the non compete or whatever.
it wasn't. For some reason, I guess I didn't have that in a contract in there, which it never came up. But basically, I went in and talked to them, and I was like, the owner, I would like to make this much money, here, and he essentially just like laughed in my face, and he's like, "You never worked for a company like this before." I was like, "Well, no." He's like, "Well, you don't come in and ask for like something like that. I mean." What standard is maybe like
Tito, come on,
Tito.
go, go.
Do we want me to put him outside?
Tito's chewing on my hand the whole time, just trying to keep him at bay.
So, anyways, I asked them um for a significant raise, pretty much, because it would have matched what I was gonna ask IMI for, and yeah, he laughed and was like, "You never done that before," and laughed me out of his office, so to speak. I was just like, "Well, that sucked, right?" And so I talked to Scott. I have the same conversation with him. I was like, well, Scott, I was real nervous because what had happened before. I was like, kind of, I'd like to be at like this price. And he's like, yeah, we think we could totally do that. I was thinking actually a little bit more than that, but for sure. And just the like the change of just how that was received and it was so refreshing to like have someone understand your worth, so to speak. It was an easy decision to jump ship, so to speak, and to go work for IMI. So that I started working with IMI internally, and they're the ones who basically sent me around the world doing that
With your
stuff.
7D or
Yeah, I had a 70 for a lot of stuff. While I was there, I started getting different gear. Um, what did I get? With the resorts and stuff, drones are important. And so I got the Inspire one, with an X5, which was like the micro four thirds camera sensor on there. So I got like a really badass drone. And then I would use that X5. You could put that on a gimbal, the Osmo gimbal
oh yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Um, so I tried to be like super portable with that stuff because a lot of times it was just me. Um, it was essentially just like B-roll of stuff, and then I'd like interview the manager or the head chef or a testimonial of someone who lives there. So small lighting package, as small as I could.
You were flying all this stuff.
Yeah, I learned real quick about um traveling with this stuff. Thankfully, my first few ones weren't out of the country, like internally. I'll tell you my first gig with them, Corey, we need you to go to what was it? Avon. It was which is in Colorado. Basically, we need you to go to Denver, go up the mountain and go shoot some content for like a week for this like snow resort thing. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what to do. I had to figure this out, dude. I got a plane ticket. I got my camera gear. Um and by that time stuff like when it all adds up, um, it's a lot of to fly with your gear if you're not prepared for it and understanding how to pack things, whatever. And then I had to have a pretty significant vehicle to go up the mountain in case it snowed. I had to have four-wheel drive. It had to be big enough to like have the 5 or 6 cases I had with me, which I wasn't traveling light at that time. So I was still learning. All that to say is that I ran out of money immediately. I landed there and I had like zero money. And I'm like
Mhm.
driving up the mountain and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I pull over and I had to call my mom. I was like, Mom, this is the deal. This is what's happening. I don't know what to do. And so we wired me some money to get me through that trip. And I come back and two things happened. One, I realized that
Well,
that
hold on. Shout out to moms.
yeah, go mom. Um they asked me if I had a media pass when I came there. And I was like, I didn't know what a media pass was. And I got the lady to explain to me what it was. And it was essentially just like a lanyard that had your face and it said media on it. That's it. And so on the way back, before I went to the airport, I went into a FedEx. I took a selfie in the bathroom, sent it to my email, photoshopped a template of media, and printed it out on a lanyard. And to this day, I still use that fucking lanyard that is $1.25
All right, I gotta
printed out.
cut out the cuss
Yeah,
words.
sorry. I to this day I still use that lander. That's $1.25 that I printed out at FedEx. Uh, and it saves me hundreds of dollars each time. They just need a badge that says media with your face on it. I mean, it's got to look legit, but I mean, I was media,
Yeah.
but but just because you have cases and all that stuff, and the people that work at the airport, sometimes they get on power trips. They just need that badge that says that. Anyways, so that was one thing, and then on the flight back, um, a lot of times they give out those like credit cards. Like, here, if you sign up today, you get 600.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm getting my first credit card. I don't know if I'll get approved for it, but like, I'm not having a situation where I have to call my mom again and ask for money. So I got my first credit card from there. I got approved for, I think it was like $3,000 on my first credit card, and I felt a lot better then. So all I'm learning things as we go, on these trips and stuff. Um, so
Yeah, you get into this niche and you kind of push into it a little faster than
oh yeah,
you would just kind of gradually find it yourself,
yeah,
and you learn things out as you go.
oh,
Trial by
100%.
fire.
Hmm.
Let's fast forward a few years.
Yeah.
You've done this. You've been to multiple locations.
Hmm.
What's changed? What's streamlined? What's really
Well, so I no longer work for them internally, but now they're like a client.
yeah
Um, and I've taken that knowledge that I had with IMI, and I've used it for other hotel brands and stuff that are not a part of the actual just real estate side of things. And yeah, my site showcases a lot of that kind of work. Still freelance for all kinds of other things, for other ad agencies and stuff. I worked at Cargo. I've done shoots at EP, but like I understand how the agency life works because I've thankfully worked on some of those internally. Um, and so nowadays I run my own stuff just through Green Giant Media. I shoot everything with what do I have now? I have a 5D Mark IV. Um, I have a C70. And I just try to make the packages smaller and lighter each time. Sometimes I can, and lighting has, gotten a lot smaller. Um, so I'll fly with like maybe 2 cases, which I can manage.
yeah
Now, if it's a bigger shoot, depending on the gig, sometimes I can do more cases and stuff. But um, I think one of the biggest points is the hotel stuff is not constant. It's not always happening, right? So you still have to be diverse in production to do all sorts of gigs. The hotel stuff probably has the most. I get paid the most from that because like I'm running it, right, and I can make the most revenue from that. Um, but still that it just comes in waves, and so in those downtimes we all know as a freelancer you got to like prepare for those. So I still do like production stuff. So yeah, you just have to be diverse still. You can't
so
just
yeah
like rely on one.
and you're going back to like some of the early style work you did,
Hmm.
so you still have to kind of go through that gamut, one, to figure out what your niche is, what
Hmm.
you really like to do, but also just to have diverse skill set,
Yep.
and familiarity with doing different projects. I used to offer a slight discount for projects I've never done before, just because it's like, hey, this is a learning opportunity for me.
Hmm.
But nowadays, and maybe you feel this way too, like I used to drive by all these companies, like, oh, I can ask them, I can ask them, I can ask them. It's like now it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, I have all this experience with construction companies and time lapse, but I just don't want to do that anymore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you using for your time lapses?
There's a website called timelapsecameras.com, and they have they're called Aphytus, but they use a Sony lens inside of it and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
I've just used the Brino ones, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's the only ones I've ever used.
But they've upgraded and upgraded, and
Nice.
they've got some really cool ones.
Cool.
And you learn like, okay, well, I can't put this on a wood post and the heat because it's gonna warp and twist the whole time. You got to put it on a metal post, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, see, well, that's the same thing I'm talking like I
same
said,
sort of
I've
niche. Dang.
I've done some time lapse stuff too, and has a company has asked me if I can do that or have I done that, and I'll just say, yeah, 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 I'll get it done. Have I done it before? Am I super experienced? No, I'm gonna figure it out. Um, I think just having the, I guess, street smarts of just
Yeah,
being able to figure things out is a big part of it. Um, Especially with the time lapse stuff, I'd always get at least more than one camera, just realizing that you never know what could happen to this one. They could bend down and fall. A freaking
yeah,
raindrop could be on the lens for several days. I don't know.
yeah.
I had a vine grow over one,
Oh,
and then it kept growing after that. Thankfully, it got out of the way. Yeah, it was like growing up this pole. It got in front of the lens and it sat there for a little bit, and then it kept growing, and thankfully cleared it. It's wild.
That's funny. So, I mean, to you guys, the finding a niche, I mean, don't find that immediately. Everyone tells you to find a niche because for various reasons. One, it helps your package and how you can price things, how you can build your kit out. So you don't have to build a kit out for every single type of deal, but it also helps with um, your marketing intentions, like when you target market, that you don't have to market to everybody. And then your work on your website, just to showcase that yes, I have done this, I'm really good at it. So it does help to niche down, but you still have to put in your time, I guess, to
Yeah.
doing everything else.
Well, I mean, I didn't like strive to go, excuse me, after this particular niche, but I will say that like kind of what you said earlier, like every video that I ever worked on, even if it was like a small one or a big scale one, like I would always just try to make it as awesome as possible because like you said, you never know who could see it. And so I can't tell you how many times it's just, hey, someone that you worked with recommended you because they liked your work and they liked you personally, right? And it's led to
I
something.
do feel like
Yeah.
personality goes a long way.
Oh, it's probably
More,
it's like
yeah.
80% of it, man. It's like 80% your personality. It's 10% how good you are, and 10% how much you're willing to learn. To be honest, I mean, if you become friends with these people that your clients and you break down that barrier of like a just a client contractor relationship and just become their friend, like even if something goes wrong or whatever, you can they'll still want to work with you just because you're friends with them. You're always going to like hire your friends first. I mean, it's just that how life works or whatever. You want to
And
work with
you
people.
can niche down in who you work with as well. Because when we first started Film Bar, I was like, oh, I want to hire everybody and give everyone an opportunity, but like that just doesn't practically work.
Hmm.
You would have no consistent video at all
Yeah.
if you try to do that. So
I mean, even if it's like a DP is better than another DP or something, like I would still hire my friend because I enjoy working on set with them for consecutive
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Um, and we'll figure it out together and make it look good. Other than hiring a DP that their work looks good and you haven't worked with them. I just feel more comfortable with this person.
That is interesting that because we're talking about niching down and how you would get hired for your work because you've niched down, but then it also does come to being good to work with
Yeah,
and work
no,
with
that's
them.
huge. I mean, yes, your work has to be good.
Yeah.
It has to be. Other people have to see and be like, oh, that's they know what they're doing. But the way you're gonna get those gigs and the way you're gonna move to the next level is legit your personality and just being a good person to work with, for sure.
And lately you got a letter.
Oh yeah. Uh, so
Some big news.
yeah. So because I have all this like luxury brand content or whatever, Waldorf Astoria, which is a top tier of the Hilton brand. If you haven't heard of Waldorf, then you've heard of like Ritz Carlton. Most people have heard of the Ritz. Waldorf is above that. It's like their top tier. And so they have these vendor lists and I got approved to be one of the vendors for the luxury brand, which means I can do it for all of them.
That's awesome.
And that's a proud moment for me just because it's recognition that I've done it. People have seen my work and they think it's good enough to like work with this company. And again, a part of that too is like, yes, the work has to be good, but like you have to prove to them that you're not gonna like defile their company. Like I could be like insane and like say some off the wall something about Waldorf or like do something bad representing them. So
You
it's
have to be a
it's
good person to work with.
you have to be a good person to work with. Exactly. So it's good to be on that vendor list. Now I still have to go chase that work, whatever. But now those lists are good because um, those resorts have to use
Yeah.
those vendors.
It's an approval letter.
Yeah, they're getting a lot more strict with that, especially the higher end brands like the Waldorfs and the Four Seasons and stuff. They want you to work with their approved vendors. You used to just with the real estate side of it, it's a little different because I was kind of like grandfathered in. And then because the way it works is you, the developer, the person who pays to have this place built, this hotel, this real estate side of it, they are the ones that at the end of the day make the call on a lot of things. What helps sell the idea of a hotel or a house is getting it branded. So if you're looking for a house in the Caribbean and you've got the funds to do it, and you're like, oh, there's a Four Seasons branded house as a part of this hotel thing, it makes a buyer feel a lot more comfortable to invest in the decision to do that because people know that brand or whatever. But the hotel just manages that stuff. Still, the property owners uh maintain the like ownership of it. It's just Four Seasons gets a cut of it.
Just to rephrase, there's a builder who builds a hotel, then they put the Hilton facade over it.
Basically, yeah.
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 And then Hilton kind of manages it, but it's the builder who reaches out to you and stuff like that. Not necessarily
That's how, well, that's how it
a little bit
used to
both.
be. It's just now gotten to the point where the hotel is starting to do it. So no, for most of my career, it's been the people selling the real estate out of that branded resort.
Yeah.
Because that resort would have most of the time uh, a real estate side to it. So it's like, um, here's a Four Seasons hotel, and here's a bunch of like villas off to the side of it. But in actuality, that entire place, even the hotel rooms, individuals own those things. Like, but when you book your hotel, the owner of said room of their little residence, they get, a cut, and then Four Seasons gets a cut. That's how those things work.
It's complicated.
Yeah. But the real estate side of it, the developer, they would they would contact me. So the people that are responsible for marketing and selling
Yeah.
those places, they would be contacting me. And they're all asking if I'm like, an approved vendor, because they don't have to have one technically because of it's the developer's money, but um it makes it really, really a lot easier if you are approved through there. And so I know the developer and the marketing people, sometimes they'll butt heads with the, the branded side of things, like Waldorf or Four Seasons. They want this certain look. Well, here's what we can do. Here's what we were able to do. And then they try to work together to figure out how to
Mm.
get the most bang for their buck. And then I'm the guy that comes in and works with all that. And then again, it's managing relationships and stuff too.
So just like another facet of niching down, you really get to learn that industry on their end
Hmm.
and can better communicate with them
Oh yeah.
because you know what they're talking about and
Yeah.
who they're dealing with
Hmm.
instead of just having a contact and say, do a video, and then that's it.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
so it helps you communicate and bargain and deal with them as well. Cool.
Hmm. Yeah, big time. Yep, yep. But still, I'm still doing other stuff outside of that. Like just like last week, Gavin, or 2 weeks ago, I can't drive or anything right now, and I can't physically shoot, but I took a gig
You haven't
where,
mentioned why.
well, I broke my arm.
Okay.
Um, so I can't like lift stuff. But I booked a gig. An old producer called me about a TV show, and he just needed some interviews shot in Colombia. I was like, okay, if I just get some help, I can probably knock that out. So I'll still do stuff like that. Like I had a buddy of mine help me out, like basically do the whole thing, and I was just telling him where things should go or whatever. He did all the manual labor or whatever. Um,
And I got to work with you on a few of them. We had the little Christmas thing for AC and,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So that some of those are, yeah, those are like freelance things too. It's weird. Like the some of those, it's not even actually for the AC. I mean, we're shooting it for the AC, but they're not footing the bill for it. For like that, that the city, all cities have like a tourism budget and they have to spend it
Mm.
or they don't get that much next year. Oh, well, I guess you don't need that money. So they're like, hey, we got to spend 20, $30,000. Can you come up with some ideas that to help us push the this for this particular hotel or something? Like, sure, we could do that. And so that comes out of like tourism dollars or
Huh,
whatever.
that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot, and that's those. You know what those are? Developers again. Those are the developers. Just like I was saying for that hotel, they're the ones footing the bill for all that stuff. So, like the AC Hotel is owned by OTO Development, which is like, what's it? Is it Johnson family? Is that the big name in
Yeah.
Spartanburg? Yeah, it's like their development company. So again, it's not AC Hotel Marriott paying for that stuff. It's the tourism dollars that go to that.
Mm.
And that one was interesting. They asked me if I was an approved person. I was like, well, no. But like, here's all my work, and they're like, oh, well, you're good.
Yeah.
But have I been approved through Marriott yet? No, not yet. I'm in the process of it actually. Um, and it's strange. I tried to get I had a shoot at a different AC hotel in Greenville, and it was for their opening of the Serotonin Lounge, which is like a little music venue, like club underneath the AC, but it's all a part of that building. So again, it's all a part of the development. Um, they're the ones footing that bill for it. But if they want to use any of those pictures that I took for the Serotonin Lounge on the AC site, I guess that has to be an approved vendor. And so I was like, wait, you're telling me that if I come in and take an awesome picture that represents whatever, even if I just like come off the street and do that, and you're like, I love this, you're not allowed to use it? And they're like, yeah. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, but anyways, I guess that's how it is, how it's getting to these days. They just want to use their approved people.
Yeah.
And I guess the approved ones have a lot, they're busy. There's a lot of hotels.
So if you could do a different niche, what do you think you would dive into?
Well, even though I love the hotel side of things, I still think the most fun, though, is to work on the larger like commercials that I've done with agencies. So back when I was at Cargo, I had an opportunity to like direct like a whole series for Microsoft. And I got to DP some stuff from Microsoft, and I traveled around shooting stuff for like these Microsoft execs and stuff, talking heads, and shooting stuff for like Wicked Weed. Like those are really fun just because they're so different. Um, I still really enjoy doing those kind of things.
Yeah.
When you have a budget to have a crew that you and your buddies who all have the same passion of like filmmaking and working in production all get together and shooting something for a few days, that's still the most fun to me. I mean, the hotel stuff, it's really just myself usually, and it's nice. It's pretty. I get to travel. Those are cool. But honestly, I'd rather work with my friends more, just because I enjoy shooting stuff with a bunch of nerds just like me. You know.
Cool.
Uh,
Well, thank you, Corey, for jumping on, talk about how your career dialed down and
yeah.
how your kit dialed down.
Yeah, man.
There is power behind niching down, but you got to do your dues first and kind of do a lot of different things to figure out what that is. But there's a lot of advantages to really stepping into one type of market for your video. So, anyways, hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Again, this is Indie Film Hub podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. Do you want to plug yourself at all?
Sure. I mean, my work is greengiantmedia.com, and then Instagram is instamesser. That's really the only two forms.
So I can check out some of the stuff you've done.
Yeah, and my number's on my website.
Love it. You can blow up some all 5 viewers.
Yeah, hit me up anytime.
All right. See you guys.